All right, guys, Mr. Cruz here to finish out the notes that you guys were previously working on when it comes to comparing fractions, decimals, and percents. And if you guys remember, I said for you guys to pause it right here at this slide so that you guys can work these out on your own, and then I'm gonna work them out now. So don't go ahead, don't cheat. All right, don't try to be sneaky like that. I'm gonna catch you eventually. I might not catch you today, but I'm gonna eventually catch you. All right. So here's all we're going to do is for the ones that we see at the top, we are going to be finding the what symbol, like what gator mouth symbol would be appropriate to make that statement true. And then here we're going to be comparing the word problems like we did previously. So let's start with this one. So we have 37.5%. We're comparing that to 6 over 16. Now 6 over 16, I can turn that into I can simplify that. I can divide them both by 2. Man, this is sloppy. So 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. And then 16 divided by 2 should give me 8. Now, at this point, it might be a little bit of a challenge because I got to divide 3 and 8. So let's go over to this screen here. We're going to be using it as a scratch paper. So I have 3 over 8. King goes in the castle, so 3 goes inside, 8 goes on the outside. 8 can't go into 3, so I'm going to add the 0, and now I have 30. So how many times does 8 go into 30? See, so now I got to think of it to myself. It can't go into a 4. Can it go into a 3? Yes, it can go into it 3 times. Oh, come on. There we go. It can go into it 3 times. So 8 times 3 is going to give me 24. So when I put this here, 8 times 3, 24. What am I doing here at the bottom? I'm going to subtract them. I end up with 6. So now I can add a 0 because, Mr. Cruz says we're going to go to at least 6 decimal places, right? So what would be next? What's the closest that we can get to 60 counting by 8s without going over? Well, I know it's going to be 7. So 7 times 8 is going to give me 56. When I subtract those two, I end up with 4. I can add one more 0. This will be my last shot because I like to go to 3 decimal places and put a 0 here. So how many times does 8 go into 40? 8 can go into 40 5 times, and this is perfect because I'm going to end up with a perfect 40, right? Because 40 minus 40 is going to give me 0, and then so I'm done. So my answer is 0.375. But when I do the booty bump, boom, boom, I end up with 37.5%. So now let's go back over here. I'm comparing 37.5% to this, which I just discovered is also 37.5%. So what symbol would be appropriate here? The equal symbol is the one that would be appropriate. All right, next up, 56.8% compared to 1 over 4. Actually, now that I think of it, 1 over 4, this one should be really easy. We shouldn't really have to do this because you have your cheat sheet. And if you're looking and you're remembering and you're studying your cheat sheet, it's going to go a lot easier for you. So 1 over 4, but let's do it anyways. I'm going to do this, set it up correctly. How many times does 4 go into 10? It goes into 10 2 times. 4 times 8, 4 times 2 gives me 8. Subtract that, I end up with 2. Now I add another 0 and drop it like it's hot. How many times does 4 go into 20? It goes into 25 times. So 5 times 4 gives me 20, and then I end up with 0. So 1 over 4 as a decimal is 0.25. When I do the booty bump, I end up with 25%. So let's go back. So I am comparing 56.8% to 25%. And in this case, the appropriate symbol would be the gator mouth eating 56.8%. Last one, 54. We're doing 54% and I'm struggling today, y'all. 54% and 3 over 5. All right, let's go here. Let's clear this out. So we have 3 over 5. And we are going to do king in the castle. So 3 goes inside and 5 on the outside. 5 can't go into 3, so we add the 0 and we do this. And now we have 30. So how many times does 5 go into 30? I know that it goes into it 6 times. 5 times 6 is 30. Subtract them both, and I end up with 0. So 3 over 5 is the same thing as 0.6, which after doing the booty bump is the same thing as 60%. When we go back here, we're comparing 54% with 3 over 5, with 3 over 5, which is also 60%. And which one is bigger? The 60% is bigger. So we're going to put the gator mouth eating the 60%. All right. Now let's go on to these that we have down here. It says Harrison Repertory Theater Company sold out 3 out of 4 performances it held. Green Shakespeare Company sold out 80% of the performances it put on. Which theater company sold out a greater percentage of its performances? So we have 3 over 4, and we're comparing that to 80. Now is where I'm just going to jump ahead, and I'm going to say I'm using my cheat sheet. You should be using your cheat sheet. What is 3/4 as a decimal? I know that 3/4 as a decimal, if I'm looking at my cheat sheet, is 0.75, which is the same thing as 75%. So which theater company had a greater percentage of their performances, sold out a greater percentage of their performances? It turns out it's going to be the Green Shakespeare Company, because they did 80 as opposed to the Harrison Repertory Theater Company, which only did 75%. Next up, Mr. Jones finished correcting 46% of that week's homework assignments. Ms. Smith finished correcting 1 out of 2 homework assignments. Which teacher corrected a greater percentage of her homework assignments? Wait, which teacher corrected a greater percentage of her? But it says Mr. Jones. There. It should say there. All right, so Jones did 46%. Smith did 1 over 2. So they essentially did half. If I'm looking at my cheat sheet, I know that half is the same thing as 0.5, which is the same thing as 50%. So Miss Smith did the greater number, right? Because she did 50%. Last one, I'm going to let you guys do the last one on your own. But I'm going to help you out here, and I'm going to let you know that 18 and 61 can both be, wait, no, they can't both be divided by 3. Ooh, that one's going to be a tough one. Good luck with that one, but you guys can do this. Think about whether or not you can simplify. I know it can't be simplified by 3. It can't be simplified by 2, but could it be simplified by something bigger? I'm going to let you guys figure that one out. But see you guys on the next video. I'll let you later. Peace.